Hey, everybody. Got my good friend Nimesh here from Texas, all of Texas. I've just decided. How are you doing, Nimesh?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Hold on, I'm gonna check my phone really quick to make sure that I'm live too with you. No, I'm awesome. Yeah, I am all over Texas now, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, you said get ready to open another one potentially, right?
Potentially, yeah. So yeah, I'm in Houston, the surrounding area. Then of course I'm all over Austin here recently, and then I spread out to Abilene, which is like 8 hours away from me.
Wow.
Trying to spread out to Killeen and San Antonio as well. So yeah, pretty soon it'll be all over Texas.
Wow. I love a man with a drive.
Is it drive or is it just stupidity? I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure that out.
Good point. No, it's drive. It's good drive.
It's
I love
drive,
it.
yeah, no, it's drive. Well, I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy helping others, and I enjoy collaborating with others. That's why, like, when you asked about this, I go, "Heck yeah," because I love that I've seen so many of these, and I've seen that you do them with people that I know, people that I don't know, and it's just fun to be able to chat with people and understand that, hey, you're not in it by yourself, right?
That's
So,
right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming today.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we were going to talk about what everybody's concern is, right? Everything that's happening in the real estate world with all the recent changes and how that has a positive spin on everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, was there a lot of big changes that happened recently or what?
Yes, absolutely. It's
Oh,
yeah,
man.
the talk is.
You know, Jennifer, I don't know if you're, old enough to remember all this, but you
Not.
remember when Y2K happened?
I absolutely
And
do.
right before Y2K, everything was like, oh my god. Once that clock, midnight strikes, there to
Well,
2000,
everything's gonna be cut down. All the computers, everything, all the technology.
yeah, all the technology is gonna be gone, and guess what? We're gonna blow up too, or something
Yes.
like that, right? So this reminded me a lot of that, right? This reminded me of like August 17th, August 17th, August
Yes.
17th. The whole real estate industry is gonna blow up. Um, it kind of reminded me a lot of that. Now, I'm not saying that you're not prepared, right? You got to be prepared for things and be in the know. But the best part about it is it's been, almost a month, right, since all the changes have happened.
That's right.
And I don't see any drastic things that have impacted in a negative way my personal business or my firm's personal business or anything like that, right? And
I
I'm
agree
I'm
with you.
assuming you're going to say the same thing, and I can tell you why, because you're good at what you do and you're a professional and you take this seriously as a career. So that's all I've been doing with all my agents is like, hey, listen, if you really want this to be your career and you want to be successful at it, well, you have to navigate the changes no matter
That's
what it
right.
is, right? And so far, so good. I'm seeing some really good things happening out of it right now. So
I agree, and I think it makes us as professionals be a little bit more professional, right? To be able to articulate the benefits of using us versus one of the thousands of competitors that we're always up against and showing our value. And I think that you had to do some soul searching to see what your value really is. And then being able to articulate it has been important.
100%. You look at it as an opportunity for you to kind of almost revamp yourself a tad bit too, right? Because there's
Absolutely.
times where you just kind of rest on the fact that, hey, look at my experience and look at what we've done and look at our successes, and then we just kind of keep going, not truly taking the time to say, hey, listen, you're brand new to this. Your first time you're buying a house or first time you're selling a house, and you don't know what's what. I have to be able to explain that to you properly.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then you're going to have problems throughout the process. If I explain everything to you, whatever issues come up, and we know issues come up, you're going to be prepared for it. Well, then it helps me understand how to articulate that much better. And I think, you and I talked about this before too, is that, what differentiated you before between yourself and Joe Schmo next to you, right? Most people are like, hey, I got to sell a house. Y'all both say you're number one. You both say you're with the best brand. You both say you're this. What's the difference, right? Well, now that's time for us professionals to be out there articulating that, and they're going to be able to see that for themselves.
No, and the one, a couple of good things I think have come out of it. The fact that the rules and regulations are across the United States, I think has been easy. We made it a little bit easier explaining it because most of our buyers are coming in from out of state. And what I'm finding is when they come in here, they already know that they have to sign by our agency. They're ready to do the interview with agents, and they already have, at least my experience, they're coming in with questions that they have already ready for that interview. And I think it's been great.
I think that's a great point though, right? Because sometimes, we have so much knowledge up here and so many things that we want to say and we want to get it out like within the first 2 minutes of meeting someone.
Yeah.
It's better if you do actually have some kind of structured question list and all that. And that also, we've always said this, right? I'm sure you're the same as I am. When I'm working with an educated buyer or an educated seller, life is so much better, right? Life is so much
Yes,
better because they understand what we're doing. So
that's right. I 100% agree. So then what are you seeing as far as like what are you seeing out there in the world as far as your sales? What is the market doing right now in Texas?
We had a slowdown like everybody. I think all over the country we had a slowdown. I think it was interesting. Back in April of this year, it was absolutely phenomenal, right? So we had
Yeah.
an amazing first quarter, and then April was just like so good. We're like, hey, how can it be better than the first quarter? But it was. And then May happened, June happened, and it was suddenly almost like a shutdown, right? So it's definitely slowed down a little bit. I think, you have to be very cognizant of where you are and what part of the country you're in and what city you're in, and actually within the city, what parts you're in. But right now, we still have an inventory issue in Houston
Yes.
and in
Yeah, we
Texas,
do too.
right? You guys as well,
Yeah, we
same?
do too. Yeah, we have a 2-month supply right now of
Okay.
inventory.
Yeah, so we're just like a little bit above that, a little bit
Yeah.
above that. And ultimately, it just means that we have people moving here to Texas. So we're fine with that. I don't think we're going to run out of that. I think what happened was there's a slowdown for two reasons, and one of them I think is political. Whenever there's an election, people just kind of take a step back, and it doesn't matter who you vote for or who you want to win. It's just people take a step back because they think it's going to affect everything. And then the second issue was the interest rates were high. Well, now look what's happened, right? They've come down. They normalized, but they've come down a tad bit from the normalization,
Yeah.
and so we're starting to see an uptick, right? I mean, even this past weekend, we had we were talking about the weather was beautiful, but we had open houses all over. My team is known for their open houses, and we had so many people coming in and out of our
Oh,
open houses right now. So that was pretty cool too.
that is
But
awesome.
that's kind of yeah, but that's leading back to what you asked me earlier about like what else are you seeing because of these changes. Well, what we're seeing is a lot more people are not ready to commit to a buyer's agent just yet. And so now they're going to open houses by themselves to take a look at these houses until they're ready to actually commit to somebody or until they're educated enough to be able to do that. So
Well, and then it gives them the chance to meet more people, meet more agents, right? And kind of have that interview um, a little less structured and a little bit where they could just talk to you about the house and see if y'all jive.
100 again, we got to put ourselves in the consumer shoes, right? We've talked about this a few times. If you're a consumer and you just walk in somewhere and the first agent you meet and they're just like, hey, you need to sign this before I can talk to you about show you this, do that. How hard is that going to be?
Yeah,
I know you can come up with different stipulations as far as time periods or shorter time periods, but you still want to get to know people. And then I don't know about y'all, but as an agent, I don't want to work with every single buyer either,
that is true. That's what I tell buyers. Hey, we need a time to get to know each other to see if we're a good fit because I need to make sure I'm the right agent, right? That we get along.
Yeah, because we get that paper signed and suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm stuck to this buyer and I hate this buyer. But yeah, no, I
That
think
is
it's good. I think a lot of people right now are out there doing a lot more to just get out in the community, whether it's from social media, whether it's open houses, whether it's community like neighborhood parties and things like that. Because as you start getting to know people, we always know, we always want to be able to work with people and trust and understand, right? And so it goes
yes.
back both ways. Hey, really quick, I got to do a quick shout out. Let's see, who's that? That's Brenda, Sia, Sandy, Amy. Michelle. Oh my God, I got to tell you about Michelle. Andrea. Oh my God. Can I tell you about Michelle really quick? I got to stop the show. Got to stop the show. I had to go. I had to go to San Diego 2 weeks ago for the broker owner conference at Remax, and Michelle invited a few of us to her house, where her husband, who is this world class chef, made the most amazing meal possible. And we were at her house, in her living room, in her beautiful backyard, and just had the greatest time ever. I mean, talk about like not having to, hey, let me take you to this restaurant or do this. It was just so amazing. It was like a family type atmosphere, you know? So
But I love
thank,
Michelle.
oh, she's awesome. Thanks,
Although I
Michelle.
do see that she said that she was in North Carolina, so I'm wondering why I didn't get a phone call while she was in town.
Oh, she did say that. Hi, on a plane leaving North Carolina. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. Thought we were really good friends.
Uh-huh.
Well,
So
good.
what else
And
do you
then,
see?
yeah. So with this, what about listings? Or because here, I mean, commission's always been negotiable. Those
Always.
sellers always had the opportunity to offer the buyer commission or not. So that we're not seeing any changes there. The only big change is the fact that it's not advertised in the MLS, right? That commission's not advertised there.
You're right. That's it. That's the only big change there is, right? Every listing appointment we have, every conversation we have from prior to and now is the exact same conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, look, guys, well, let's put our best foot forward. So let's clean our house. Let's repaint this. Let's offer up whatever we want to offer up, whether it's in commissions, whether it's in closing costs, whether it's in carpet allowance, whatever it is. Let's put
That's
our
right.
best foot forward so we can do that. I have every single listing appointment I've been on, and I've been on a lot since August 17th. Every single one of them said, no, we want to make sure that we get the most exposure and the most amount of people coming through and make it a little bit less difficult for the buyer to find this and that so that they can buy our house for top dollar. So I haven't had any issues with that yet.
Yeah, you know what? I had 2 that actually were other people's expired, and they called me about listing it, and when I went in there for the listing appointment, not only did both of them come down on their prices, but they also offered more buyer incentives, and I was a little bit surprised to see that, but they were like, "Well, it didn't sell before when I was offering this. Let's change it." And I thought, well, and both of them both of them are under contract at this point, so that was good.
Course they are. Of course they are. But you know why? Because you explained that to them properly. I
That's
bet
right.
you. You took the time to understand what their goals and vision is, and ultimate goal is to sell the house at this number. So that's why I also think that agents don't realize, and this is going to sound so basic, but net sheets are so important. Net sheets, right? Every meeting we have the net sheet ready. So now the seller's thinking, okay, well, as long as I get this right here, I don't care how we structure the deal, right?
That's right.
Well, if that's the case, then let's put our best foot forward by offering this, offering that to the buyer or the buyer's agent, et cetera. And as long as you get your net, we're good to go, you know?
Amen. That's exactly right. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. I had a seller arguing with me because she had agreed once it went under contract to give the buyer, instead of any repairs, to give the buyer X amount towards closing costs and X amount lowering the price in lieu of any repairs. And when it came time to closing, she was arguing about, nope, I said I wanted to lower the price. And anyway, when I sat down with the seller net sheet again and went over it, there, I mean, the end of the day, the bottom line was the bottom line. It was the same no matter
Exactly.
how you
Yeah, you
um,
can slice and dice it however you want, but as long as the bottom line's there, yeah. And I
that's
think
exactly
it's just another valuable lesson, towards people to say, no matter how basic some of these things are, these are important basic things, basic steps, right?
that's right.
And being able to have that conversation because there's many, many, and no offense to anybody else out there, I know we're live, but there's so many agents that just got licensed within the past 3 to 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those guys didn't realize this amazing market that we were in, that you basically just had to show up and say hi and you got deals done, right?
If you could
Now you got
breathe.
to, yeah, you got to work a little bit more for it, but I
Mhm.
like that. I like to want to work for stuff and earn it, right? So,
Well, I agree with you, and it gives you a chance to talk to people and actually negotiate and show your skills.
yeah.
Whereas before, you just put a sign in the yard and get 25 offers in. That was skillless.
There's a couple of times and here's some more people. Hey, Don. Hey, Carlene. Um, there, there's a couple
Oh,
of times where I've turned to Sharon, she runs my team. And I said, is it fair that we just got paid this much amount of money, on this particular house, right? And she's like, what do you mean? We had to go through this whole process. I said,
yeah.
yeah, but we only got it because we were so fast on getting the offer in and this and that. And so at that time, I felt like, we were just doing things like a expediency or efficiency
Yeah,
versus now it's like, okay, hey, back to what's up here. What's up
that's
here?
exactly right. Showing your real value. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was it fun. Back in 2022, when a buyer would call you and be like, "Hey, I haven't seen the house, but I want to make an offer and I want to be $100,000 above list price." And and you're like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
And you're typing and you're calling the listing agent saying, "Hey, wait, I'm typing up as fast as I can."
yeah. That was some interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
It I don't think it's not gonna happen like that again, but I have a feeling that some of that might come back, okay? Some of that as these interest rates keep dropping. Now the house has to be done right too, right? So gone are the days where the seller says, "Okay, can you please put my piece of shit on the proper or on the MLS really quick, and get me a hundred
Take some
thousand dollars."
pictures with your phone. It'll be good.
Yeah, yeah, no. So I think with our lower interest rates right now, and we're starting to see that a little bit that
Yeah.
listings are moving, but listings are only moving if the seller has actually done the work too, as far as put it on the market with the right stuff in it, right? So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit more days on the market, but they're still moving relatively quickly. I mean, not in, a second, but now like in 30 days, 40 days. So it's
yeah,
still, I mean, to me, that's still pretty fast. And when I first got into real estate in 2007, the average days on the market were 9 months. I mean, it was insane. You would have to sign a year-long listing agreement with me, and I would go through the likelihood that, most of them were selling in 9, 10, 11 months after they got listed. So this is
okay.
still
Can,
pretty
can
fast.
we rewind here for a second? I want to be the interviewer. So Jennifer, what in the heck were you thinking getting licensed in 2007?
Well, you know what? And that's what every single person said, especially my mother. But I was a high school teacher and my marriage was getting a little bit rocky. And I knew that I could kind of see the writing on the wall with my marriage. And he was definitely the breadwinner. So when I started looking around in North Carolina, teachers, even with a master's degree, they do not get paid very much. So I was making $31,000 a year.
Ooh.
And when I started calling around to figure out what I could afford with my 2 children who were 6 and 7 at the time, it was nothing, absolutely nothing. And I had a friend that taught with me that said, I'm gonna go take classes in real estate school. You wanna come with me and get licensed?" I'm like, "Sure,
Right.
let's do it." And then, but for me, it was a great time to get in because it's much like the time now where you had to work for it and you had to figure out the market and you did all the basic stuff, knocking on doors, cold calling. Back then, I had literally a phone book that I called from. Um, to me, it just taught me what I needed to do. So when the market shifted, I would be like rock star.
Okay, well, unintended, but wow, what a great segue into isn't that what we should be doing right now with all this stuff that's happened, right? The basics, but working at it, knowing that we're going to be prepared for 2025 and 2026 when so many
Right.
agents get out of the business, so many agents don't know what they're doing, and you're going to be able to write your ticket however you want to and work the way you want to.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly right. Yeah, to me, I tend to think that this shifting in a market does weed out the people that are serious versus the non-serious people, the people that it is their primary income source, and versus the ones that would rather be at the beach and call it working.
Yeah. Or the supplemental, right? A lot of people call this supplemental, and I
Yeah,
can't fault anyone, right? You don't know what everybody's individual situations are or their family situations, and there's people that just want to have some supplemental income. That's fine. You can do whatever you want.
yeah,
I just, I take offense to it just for the fact that I put in all this time and effort and money and reading and continuing education and heartbreaks and all of
yeah.
that failures. I put all of that into where I know that this is what I want for my profession, but as my career. And so there's times that you're gonna laugh at this one. I'm very unpopular with this opinion. I've had it to where I've had it enough with some of these people that I've asked our MLS board to raise membership dues to $10,000 a year. I was like,
Weed them out
please.
fast.
I was like, please make them 10 because I have 45,000 agents in my MLS. Okay. Just in the Houston one. I'm not talking about anyone else, right? Just Houston one is 45,000 people in
Holy
our
cow.
MLS. Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
population of Houston?
Oh, we're up there. I think we're about to be number 3 out there. I don't even know what the exact
Our
population is.
population is 115,000 people.
That's we
You
have
have
more
just about
than
as
that
many agents.
yeah, we have more than that in just my suburb of Houston, Sugarland, you
Wow.
know? A population of Houston is probably like, what, 3 or 4 million, but then we have the metro market, so it's even more than that, you know?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even I would yeah, that's scary
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
We have a major anxiety.
No, and that's the tough part, right? Because now we're back to competing. Going back to, this in all seriousness, we're competing with 44,000 people just in Houston
Yeah,
and different brands, different ages, different everything. So what sets you apart, right? And so I think right now with all the changes that are going on, I almost feel like, okay, this is going to probably help set me apart with people not being able to follow these rules and these changes and adapt to them. This is where I'm looking at right now to
that's right.
differentiate myself.
So
Hey,
what
Tiffany. Hey, Mark.
what's some advice you would give the agents right now kind of struggling through this learning stage of real estate?
Wow. So what advice do I give agents in general? I saw a quote the other day. Hold on, let me grab my phone. I wanted to share this quote. Um, Posted it to my team the other day. But where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. This, I think it was from one of my good friends, Todd Stock out of Indiana, but said, success requires both urgency and patience. Be urgent about making the effort and be patient about seeing the results.
Ah,
So if you
okay.
really, yeah, it's very simple, but if you break that down, I think what people need to understand is the speed to lead, you need to get there, right? I think we've seen numbers where like maybe this year there might be right around 4.6, 4.8 million transactions all said and done. So you
Yeah,
multiply that by 2 because you have 2 sides of it. So you're talking about almost 9 million transactions for the year. It's kind of low compared to the last couple of years. Next year's projections are right around 5.4 to 5.5 million transactions. So now we're talking about 10 to 11 million transactions next year. But you know how many online leads there are? Over 250 million online leads
yeah, that's right.
just for 11 million transactions, right? So the
Wow.
speed to lead is absolutely imperative, but then the follow up, the cultivating, I think too many people want that right now, right now, right now. And you get a lead if you cultivate it. Like a lot of my team members right now, 3 months, 6 months, one year, and they're like, hey, I'm following up on their leads. Where'd you get that deal? Oh, I've been following up them for a year.
That's
So
right.
the urgency of doing that is there, but then the patience of waiting a year for that deal to follow through.
Yeah, and I think there's an urgency too whenever somebody calls you back or asks you a question, because I have that with a couple of agents on the team, and I'm like, "Hey, I saw this question come through like 2 days ago."
Yeah. Oh,
"Oh, well," I'm like, well,
mm,
I think you've lost them." Like, holy cow. Like,
yeah.
when they raise their hand asking you a question, jump.
Jump. Yeah, you have to jump, right? Hold on, we got Mark and Tiffany telling me there are close to 8 million people in the Houston Metroplex. Then you got Ann Hilliard saying there's only 365 people in her MLS. You
Yeah.
know,
We have 6,000 in our MLS. This is crazy. Let's see here.
oh, it's
We have
crazy.
a Remax course for converting leads. Sandy.
Sandy, yeah, no, it's funny. Speaking of Sandy, I actually got to talk to her quite a bit about her follow up system, and so I use Follow Up Boss.
Mhm.
So I kind of talked to her about that, and then Ylopo is our lead generating system, and so I got to really talk to her about that, and
I've
and
heard negative things about Ylopo.
so far so good. But the thing is, like with anything, you have to utilize it, right? And so the whole reason that I've got my team all over it right now is for that. I just don't think the agents are there for the speed part
Mm,
100%. And maybe they might be for the initial contact, but then not the second and third and fourth
that's
contact.
right.
So with Ylopo, our retargeting and all that, we're getting like, in fact, one of my agents literally last week ended up getting a $2 million deal, a 900,000 on the list side and a $1.1 million on the buy side, and it was a retargeting from Ylopo.
Oh, wow.
So that's why we're trying to all these different things to get to that. So going back to what advice I give agents is you have to be on top of everything. You have to have your phone on you. I'm sorry, but yes, there's a fine line between, work-life balance and things like that. But I'm sorry, as a real estate profession, we've chose this career. you have to have your phone on you at all times.
That's what I tell people, and especially when they're interviewing to be on the team. And it's always funny because I'll say, why real estate? And they always say for a flexible schedule,
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Well, so do you have a phone? How often is it with you?" That's your level of flexibility, right? As long as you have your phone, you gotta be. Because if you miss it, the public will just move to the next person in line that answers their phone.
easily. So yeah, you have to have your phone on you. And I think also back to again basic stuff, it's that customer experience that I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are missing, right? Jennifer, I think I watched one of your shows and I forgot who was on, but you were talking about your whole system
Our
of
closing
post
process.
closing and all that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? That's an experience that that client is going to go through. And so when so many people through COVID and just post COVID became transactional, people like you, people like me, people like Sandy and all these, we're so relationship based,
That's
and
right.
that's what we really count on versus the transactional side. So as
That's
a
right.
new agent, do not be transactional. If you don't know what that means, talk to somebody that gets
Mhm.
75% plus of their business from referrals. That's what you really want to become.
Amen. That is very well said. You're 100% right. 'Cause it's hard always chasing leads.
Mhm.
It's easy when somebody refers you and they already know, love you, and trust you. But we do really value that process. And it's interesting. I've been looking at actually earlier today at the people that gave us recent reviews, and they all say, if it's one of my clients that said, "I love Jimmy, Allie, and Jennifer, Allie, and Jimmy, who's part of our closing process." But I
Yeah.
started looking and there were like 25 reviews and they all said like the agent's name and Allie and Jimmy all tagged in like this is an amazing team. And it's that customer service, that level, that experience.
I love that. That's actually, I'm gonna now take that back to my people. Hey guys, our closing team needs to get their name out there a little bit more, right? Because
Yeah.
now they're remembering more and more, right? And I think everybody out there will tell you that at BOC, one of the stats that they put up there was that it was something like 87% of realtors or clients would use their realtor again. 87%. So that means most of them did a good job, right? But I think the number was 14% actually used the same realtor
Because they
again.
forget who was the realtor 2 years later.
Exactly. Yeah, and forget about 2 years. People usually don't buy or sell for another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah,
So you're definitely gonna forget if you're not keeping that going too, right? And I
that's right.
think and I think what another thing that a lot of people, tend to forget is that if you're creating this great customer consumer experience, it's not about waiting for them to buy again 5 or 7 years down the road. It's for
They know.
them to give you referrals of their family and friends and coworkers and peers, you know?
That's
So
exactly right. And I am not scared to ask for that referral. When I first got into business, I was a little bit. It was easy for me to be rejected by people I didn't know, but people that I did know, it hurt. It hurt. But what I found is not asking, people think you don't need the business or you don't want the business or you're too busy for the business. So I
right.
think it's important to ask, but we don't. When I call people, it's not, I mean, I might ask for the business like once a year, but we do like 4 to 6 parties throughout the year. So I'm more likely calling you about inviting you to something we are offering, and along the way, I might ask you for business.
I love that. In fact, I wanna talk about that for a second. And by the way, hey Brandon, hey Stacy. God, you got a
Aw.
lot of good people. You got a lot of good people following you. So
It's
yeah,
us.
we got a lot of, in fact, I already missed a bunch of people in here too. So hi everybody from all over. Got Boston and Colorado and everything.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. I know when I was younger, I used to always dream about the day that I'm like I get big enough to where I'm gonna have that one big agent appreciate or a client appreciation party at the end of the year, like everybody does, right? And I tried it a couple of times and it wasn't the best thing in the world for me. It just didn't work for me.
Mhm.
So then what I started doing was a little bit more on the quarterly basis, right? Every quarter and make them smaller groups, smaller groups, smaller groups. One, I can actually talk to you, you can talk to me and all that. But it was just kind of it just put me out there a little bit more and more throughout the year versus just one
That's
time a year. So I like that you say that you have 5 or 6 different ones too, you know?
Yeah, some of our best ones, and I think it's important just to be consistent with them, right? Because people like to know what to expect. But the ones that people really love, they love an Easter egg hunt. that we do every year. And I now have like people that don't have children show up. So we have adult eggs that have gift cards in them, as well as the eggs for the kids. We have food and you name it. We've got the whole shindig going on. But another one people like is in October, we do a Halloween contest for your pets. So we have it at a local pub and everybody brings their animals dressed up. And then we have little awards that we give out, but people friggin' love it. And it's the one event, and I think it's because the pets dressed up that everybody's mingling, everybody's talking, everybody's comparing their, I mean, it's just a fun event. And
I
it's
love
really not
that.
very expensive.
I love that. That's actually really cool. I got a text from somebody that said I didn't call them out. So, hey, Emily, it's Nimesh.
Don't forget anybody.
You gotta call out everybody. That's actually a really good idea. I like that. I think it's just, but what does that do though, right? It ties you to the community as well, right?
Yeah.
Versus just saying, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm doing a party so I can get more referrals from you. No, we care about the community. We care about your dogs. We care about this, right?
That's
So
right.
I
And
like that.
that one's actually a fundraiser for a local humane society that's a no-kill shelter.
Ah,
So people come with food or whatever to give, but we usually raise, 3 to 5,000 for them in that one night. So everybody really loves it.
yeah.
Another one that I was doing is we were talking about smaller groups is Wednesday afternoon, late afternoons, I'd get a group together for wine. We have a cute little wine, like a little wine boutique right next door to our office.
Mhm.
And I organized it based off of either zip codes that they bought in, maybe places where they moved from, maybe the age of their kids, just whatever I felt like were similarities with them. But it was interesting because the last time I did it, not the last time, but one of the fun times I did it, right after that, they sent me pictures. They all met for Thanksgiving and they were like, we didn't know anybody here. So everybody that went, there were like 10 people. They all had like a Friendsgiving and all those people came with their spouses. And I was not invited. But I got the pictures and I was like, that is friggin' cool because I do think that I'm a matchmaker, right? So I had to tell everybody, I'm a matchmaker. I'm going to match you to your house, but I'm also going to refer you doctors and dentists and grocery stores, whatever you need. But in this instant, I also help you make friends.
Yeah.
And
No,
if you're
for
coming
sure.
in from out of town, it's you kind of
See,
lonely.
that's smart, right? Because you're kind of, you're being wary of, or not wary, but you're seeing where they are in the zip codes, right? So that means they're somewhat close to each other. So now they can discuss their experiences at this grocery store, at this restaurant, or at this
That's
bar, or
right.
something like that too, right? I think that's a phenomenal idea. And
Yeah. Do you know how long it took me to organize it? 5 minutes.
yeah,
Picked up the phone, called a few people. Here's where we're going to meet. Come over. Cost me $100, 5 minutes of my time. It was so much fun.
yeah. Hey, really quick, I gotta also, hey, shout out to Ida. She goes, coming on over here to Jennifer's site. I was all alone on Nimesh's page. I just shared it. Everybody's
Good.
on
Thank
Jennifer's
you.
page. If you're on my page, go to Jennifer's page. That way you can see all the comments and stuff.
You're
No,
awesome.
I think that's great because we are matchmakers, right? And this is again, I'm gonna age myself here. But when I was younger in the real estate game, one of the things I used to love telling everybody was I was everybody's personal Zagat. Do y'all remember Zagats?
I have no idea what a Zagat is.
So Zagat was the book that everybody you went to, prior to Yelp and all of that, where
Uh,
you'd find all that. So I was everybody's personal Zagat. So I loved getting calls from my clients afterward, like, 3 weeks later, 3 months later. Hey, I want some sushi this week. Where can I go? And I would tell them where to go. Hey, I want this week, So that was back in like the early parts of 2000s. That
yeah.
was everybody's personal Zagat. Well, that's what we're supposed to continue to do anyway, right? That's what we do. So
And I love those phone calls. When somebody sends me a text or calls me and asks me for a reference to whatever, I'm like, thank you. That's what I'm here for. I am not just here for the contracted dates, right?
yeah.
I tell people you can't get rid of me that easily.
No, exactly.
I am in. Like you're my friend now.
Yeah, I went to a closing the other day, literally last week, and it was interesting. It was a guy I knew from high school. We had our 30-year high school reunion 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I said, "Hey, can I sponsor a part of it? Because I have a cool place to do it at, and I'll pay for this and that." So I did it, and I met so many people I hadn't seen in almost 30 years. And
Wow.
so we all reconnected, and that was really neat. And then next thing they started using me for, just in the past 2 years. So when we went to the closing last week, he just said, listen, I know I knew you before, but I know you in a different light now. And
Mm.
you made a friend for life. And I was like, oh, yes. That's all I cared about, right?
Nice.
I didn't want him to say, oh, you're a great agent. He just said you made a friend for life. And that was probably the coolest thing. So,
That is really cool. Yeah. I've had a couple people circle back around from like high school to use me, but honestly, when then that's when your stupid high school my stupid high school insecurities will creep back out. And I'm like, oh, what? And I'm like, okay, I'm an adult. I'm a successful adult.
yes, you're a successful adult. Leave it. Hey, I gotta laugh at Andy Brown really quick. Andy's like, Nimesh, I've been everybody's Rolodex. That's old.
But we
Yeah,
all know what he's talking about.
exactly. We know what he's talking about. Okay, listen, you're successful, and even if you're not successful, which you are, you got that personality. Just walk into your high school reunions and stuff, and
I
watch how
do
people.
now, but these first couple, I was like, "Ooh," like I'm like, "Okay, I got this." Anyway, well, Nimesh, thank you so much for your time. I just appreciate you.
Oh, I love you too. I love you too. I mean, I think you're doing an amazing job of getting people from all over the country together. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here really quick. I watch a lot of yours, or at least I go back and watch some of yours, I'll read comments and stuff, and it's just so interesting and I love the fact that you got somebody from Seattle and then Tennessee and then Florida, and they're all commenting or sharing things, and that's the beauty of our network, right? Our beauty of our network is, hey, we copy each other or share or borrow from each other.
That's
And you can do whatever you can and put your own spin on it, your own personality on it, and do it within your own community. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's why we get on these calls. And I think you've been doing such a consistent job of doing this that I think you're one of the top in the whole country and I know a lot of people, right? I know a lot of people and a lot of
yes, you
Amex
do.
people. And I think you're one of the best at doing this. So
Well, it is time consuming. It's very time
yeah.
consuming. Actually, Grayson that you met, my youngest daughter, that's one
Mhm.
of her job tasks is handling this because getting it organized and scheduling it and lining it up is time consuming, but I get a lot from it. I love meeting people. I love connecting. I love learning. I love sharing and growing. And that's sort of the community that I've been lucky enough to essablish.
Absolutely, and you're at the top of that community. Let me tell you that I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Like, you really are at the top of that community. And I've also, all through my years of being the broker and doing all this stuff, I'll say this: I learned more from sharing than I did from anything else. Right?
That is true. Me too.
So I share as much as I can, and once I do, I'm like, oh, somebody else will have a comment, or they'll tell me how to do it better or more efficiently, and all that. So I love that you're doing this. Oh,
Well,
who's that? Oh my God, more people. Hey, Susan. Susan Reno. I love Susan.
oh, she is so much fun. Yes.
She actually closed one of our deals for us here just last year. So that was awesome too. So
Nice. Well, are you gonna be in California in October?
oh, you betcha. You're gonna be there, right?
I'm gonna be there. I can't wait. I've never been to Napa, so I'm excited.
Are you going for an extra couple of days or no?
I am. I'm going Friday, so Friday prior
Oh
start.
wow. Okay. I won't get in until Tuesday, but I'm gonna stay till the following Sunday. Napa's beautiful, but we'll talk offline and I'll tell you some places to go. I'll tell you where to go, even to Sonoma or to Bodega Bay or to Muir Woods and all of that kind of stuff around. That's like one of my
Tell
favorite
me.
places
I
in
would
all of
love to know.
absolutely
Yes.
amazing area. Who else? We got John Bellis. Oh, hey John. Hey Eric. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, fabulous. Well, you let me know where to go while I'm there. I'm
Mhm.
actually only staying till Friday. I tried to lengthen my stay on the back end to Sunday, but the hotel was booked. So
Yeah, I got a buddy that has a place in Napa, so that he bought. I helped him buy, and then he decided not to Airbnb it out. He goes there like 5 or 6 times a year. Well, guess what? I'm staying
wow.
there afterward too. So
That's nice. It's a good
finally
friend to
somebody
have.
noticed. By the way, sorry, Stacy Miller just noticed. Love the Cowboys jersey. Yeah, boys. Sorry, I get
Well, you
excited.
said that's what you did all weekend was watch football. So
All weekend, my Texans, my Longhorns, and my Cowboys. What an amazing football weekend for me. So
nice. I'm trying to think. So my daughter went to New Orleans, just got back today. Who was playing Carolina Panthers versus I don't know she told me who they were, but anyway, they got killed.
Yeah, they got killed. Next week, I said, look at Amy over there saying terrible because I already know what Amy's thinking. Next week we play y'all, so let's see how that game goes.
There we go. Let's check it out. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Nimesh. I appreciate you and everybody. Holy cow, I keep putting my glasses on so I could see all the comments. Love Carol, and we got Brenda and Donna and Pam. Holy cow.
Oh, look at these people all hooted. Oh, I know Brenda's definitely from Louisiana, so she's that. And Donna, love you. By the way, I had a bet with your broker, and he lost to me this past weekend. So we're gonna see what that happens. One of the greatest brokers in the whole network, Tyler Morton. Hey, actually, here's another tip for everybody that's watching: follow Tyler Morton and get on his newsletter. It's called Tech with Ty. You can actually just email him or connect with him on social media. And he does a Tech with Ty email that goes out every, I think, week or every 2 weeks or something like that. And it's some amazing stuff that you can learn, just really cool little tips. So
wow, I'll check that out. I had no idea.
You'll learn some good stuff that helps you become more efficient. You'll learn some things about what's going on with the industry in general. And it's just a fun little thing to do. So follow Tyler Morton and Joseph, go Pack, go. Y'all lost. Good time. We can go on and on, but
yes, don't rub it in.
Yeah, we got to go, right?
That's right. Well, thank you, Nimesh. I appreciate you.
Love you.
And I look forward to seeing you in October.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.